My name is Alex Kouras, and in today's video, I'm going to be showing you exactly how to give yourself a number 1.5 guard beginner self haircut. All right. I've been cutting my own hair for well over 15 years at this point, so I know pretty much every type of hairstyle, the ins and outs of everything from a beginner, intermediate, advanced level self haircut. You guys have probably seen it before on my channel, but today we're keeping it simple, going beginner, and just starting out with the number 1.5 guard to make this a really simple beginner self haircut for you. So to get started with the self haircut, we're using the number 1.5 guard with the lever open, and I'm just going up about 1 inch to 1.5 inches above my ear with a slight drop toward the back of my head by the occipital ridge. So I'm just basically creating a good foundation. I'm using my mirrors to make sure that my left side and my right side are both at the same exact level, because the last thing you want is a lopsided haircut, right? So let's move forward. Let's go for the second guideline with the number 2 guard lever open. And again, I'm just going up about 1 inch here, but you'll notice that I'm not guiding the guards along my scalp, right? The curvature of my scalp, I'm not doing that. What I'm doing instead is kind of going up at a 90-degree angle with a slight flick out at the same time. So I'm going up that 1 inch, but I'm also flicking out as well. And what that's doing is kind of alleviating the blend a little bit at the upper portion that I'm hitting. So I'm not putting in a massive hard line that makes it more difficult for me to blend the haircut later on. So now, going in, doing roughly the same exact thing with the number 3 guard lever open, still going up 1 inch, and I'm blending it in toward the part line, again using that flick out motion toward the top of that 1 inch. All right, so each guideline about 1 inch, and I'm just going up, flicking out toward the top so that I'm kind of softening up the hard line a little bit in the process, so it makes it easier for me when I have to go in and blend in those hard lines. So now we're keeping it simple, okay? This is a beginner self haircut. Let's just go back to the first guideline and use the same guard and lever position to flick out that first hard line, right? So it's not that big of a hard line. It's not that noticeable because the 1.5 guard is relatively big. So the color from the bottom guideline to the top, to the hair on top, it's not that big of a difference in color. So the hard lines aren't going to be as noticeable, because really that's all a hard line is a big differentiation between light and dark in the color of the fade, right? It's all about the color. We're just going back in using the same exact guard and lever position to remove the hard line that we put in for the first guideline, okay? And then same thing here for this second one. We're going in number 2 guard lever open. And again, this is going to remove, if not just soften up, that second hard line. You're not really going to see it too much because, again, these are longer guards. But for a beginner haircut, this is honestly the easiest it's going to get. You're not even changing the lever position. You're keeping the same exact guards. So the guards stay the same. The lever positions stay the same. You're just going back in and flicking out the hard lines with the same guard and lever position after you've gone through and put in each of the different guidelines, right? Guideline 1, guideline 2, guideline 3, etc. So now I'm going in with my thinning shears over comb and just blending in the faded part on the sides and back to the longer length on top. Now I know I've gotten many comments saying, oh, thinning shears, they're not a beginner tool. They're very difficult to use. The reason why I believe, and I strongly believe, thinning shears are indeed a beginner tool is because they are basically safety scissors, meaning they only actually cut between 15 to 20% of the hair every time you open and close the scissors. So they're basically safety scissors. All you need to do is master the hand and body motions. Once you can master the motions, everything else is super simple. So they are indeed a beginner tool. Just like a clipper, you have to master the hand and body motions to cut your own hair. It's even easier and safer to use a thinning shear than it is for a clipper, right? So let's keep it simple. Thinning shears are indeed a beginner tool. Just master the hand and body motions to do it. And so what you were basically just seeing is me debulking the top of my head. Because I've got really thick hair, it looked like the crown toward the back of my head was very bulky. So that's why I was running the thinning shears through the back of my head to kind of blend things in a little bit better and soften up and make the back of my head a little bit lower, lay it flat a little bit lower so that the curve of my head was actually shaped correctly and my head didn't have this weird shape to it. And so right here, I'm just going in to blend in the beard into the haircut on the sides of my head. So you don't want to have, a super harsh line by your ear, right? You don't want to have a super harsh line. You want to have that connection between your beard and have it gradually blend and fade into the haircut. So the whole haircut has to seem seamless, right? Everything's got to blend nicely. And so now I'm going in, putting on my headband to basically protect the longer length on top, right? I don't want to make any mistakes, accidentally cut the longer length. You guys don't necessarily need a headband. Duck clips work great as well, but I'm just using a headband because I have one. You also don't need to use a trimmer as well for the forehead. You can use a pair of scissors just to cut any of those baby hairs or stray hairs that are basically pushing the line and making it a little uneven. So prefer using scissors. It's a little bit safer, but then when you get toward the C cup, around your temples, around your ear, your neck, that's when you're going to need to use the trimmer for sure, because you can't really use scissors for that part. So be careful, use the mirror setup, take it slow, be patient when you're doing this. Trimmers are, obviously they cut really, really close to skin, so you got to be careful, take it slow, practice with the mirror setup before the self haircut just to get the motions down. Keep the trimmer turned off to practice. Everything is all about patience. Everything's about taking it slow. The more you can do it slow and patiently, the better you're going to be at the end of the day. All right, so just be patient, be calm, and study and practice the motions. That's how you're going to get better. And then, of course, implement them, right? Don't be afraid, right? Be not afraid, only believe. You can do this. This is my version of a 1.5 guard beginner self haircut. Let me know what you guys learned, what you liked or didn't like in the comment section below. And don't forget, subscribe to my channel and check out this video for more self haircut tips and tricks.